Hello there. Happy Sunday. Well, it's not really. Howling a gale out there. Oh, roll on spring, summer. I don't like the cold. I really do not like the cold. I'm a wimp, I know, yeah. Wearing me. You see them lovely? The fur, well, furry, acrylic, whatever. I've just ordered another couple of pairs. White pair, I must be mad, but they only had black, white, pale pink and sort of like, well, they call it khaki, but to me it's beige. So I've, yeah, gone against the grain and bought beige and white, but they're so warm. They're only short, but they're lovely and warm, yeah. Well, in the post yesterday I got a new necklace. It's just circles and sort of whatever. It would go with this, what I'm wearing. But I'm actually wearing a very old one that I absolutely love, which has got butterflies. I lost it for ages when I was at the other house, but then I found it again and I was so happy. So happy. Anyway, what am I wearing today? I know you like to see what I'm wearing, so I'm wearing, I've still got the same dress on. These dresses are wonderful, you know, just basic dresses. I'm wearing a top by Doris Chan. It's from the Amazing Crochet Lace. I'll show you the pattern. And it's the same back and front. I had to put a bit extra on it because it actually stops a little bit short for me. It stops there, I think. So I had to put the extra bit on the bottom. I'll show you the pattern. As you know, I am a Doris Chan. I love her patterns. Sad that she no longer is designing. But it comes from a book called The Amazing Crochet Lace book. She sort of brought about the theory of what they call expanded lace. In other words, instead of doing a doily, you expand it and make it into something else. As you know, I'm doing pineapples at the moment, which I'll show you in a moment, but I got this shawl, is her blue curacao shawl. I have done literally loads of those shawls, loads of them. And she does give you written instructions, but she also gives you diagrams, which is what I am missing with the pattern that I'm doing at the moment. And with the pattern I'm wearing is this one, which she's done in a lovely sort of ribbon effect. But I did mine in James C. Brett marble chunky. Just trying to see if there's another picture of it. No, there isn't. But basically you make 5 hexagonals, are they called? Are they hexagonals? Were they 5? And you sew them together. But as I said, I needed the extra length because it was too short on me. So I added a bit on the extra on the bottom. I made quite a few of them. In fact, I want to make a few more actually. I think I've got some James C. Brett still in the crafting shed, yeah. I mean, she's got some beautiful things in this book. If you can still get a hold of the pattern, I think you can probably still get one if you hunt and search, you know, on the sort of vintage pattern book sites, yeah. I never made that. I absolutely love it, but again, it's done in a ribbon effect. I'm not very good at crocheting with ribbon. I think I must flick, you know, my yarn as I'm doing anything, and I sort of twist it, so it gives it a very weird look when you crochet with ribbon. But that I absolutely adore. It's not practical at all, is it? But wouldn't keep you warm, would it? You know what I'm saying? But isn't it beautiful? So I'm sure you can still get this book. But it's one of the ones where I have used, you know, loads and loads of the patterns out of. Which when you think about it, you know, you pay what's about £16 for a book. When you think about it, I paid £10 for that pattern. By the way, she's reduced it to £8 something on Etsy. I mean, I love that. I can't wear anything short because I'm too plump round the middle. But I do love that. Isn't that cute? I mean, she does do it in different lengths, but of course I like the short version. But you have to sort of decide which is, and I've made that one for my niece on a couple of occasions. That is very pretty. Yeah, anyway, enough about that. But Doris Chan, one of my favourite go-to. I'm still struggling with the jacket, which, as I said before, I will not recommend this pattern to anybody. I'm waiting for somebody to come up and say, oh, I've done it and it's dead easy. It is easy, but it's just wrong. The Fairy Queen jacket. I love the design. If ever I make it for myself, which I will just, I've got the idea now, the concept in my brain, I will just do it. Yeah, my way. Yeah. I am doing it to the pattern. I don't know whether you can see on the mannequin. Mannequin. Yeah. That I've got to the bit where I'm doing the pineapples at the bottom. I would dearly have loved her to do a chart, but no, it's row by row by row. So because I'm not getting gauge like she's getting gauge, I should get like 3 lots of pineapples to the bottom, but I probably have to do 4 or 5 lots of pineapples to get to the bottom, yeah. And I'm going to have to do something with the front because it just is not wide enough. I'm not being rude to my daughter-in-law, but she is a little bit larger than this mannequin is. So it's supposed to fasten, I think, with buttons at the front, I think. Although, you know, she doesn't give you really good pictures. She gives you back view pictures of, you know, people spreading it out and doing all sorts of things. But, you know, she's very fond of the, you know, that kind of picture where you spread out the whole thing. So that one is a longer version, which is probably what I'll have to do mine. But she doesn't show you much about the front, I don't think, how the front fastens or how the front looks, or what you're supposed to do with the front. You know, she just shows you pictures of it in making. She doesn't show you pictures of it, how it's actually finished. So I think it's just going to be a case of Janet will improvise as usual, yeah. But as I said before, I would love to make one for me, but I would do it my way, And the pineapple pattern I will do using the chart from Doris Chan, because she's so helpfully provided me with a chart. And you know, she's given me a chart with all the edgings and all the finishings and everything. I know a lot of people can't work off a chart, but she actually gives you the instructions as well as, yeah. Very helpful lady is Doris Chan. And I mean, at the time when she was in her heyday, she actually used to have a Ravelry group. And if you got stuck at all on any of her patterns, she would answer you. She was a very, very obliging designer, which is what you need if you're struggling with something, if you just don't quite get it, you know. She has a very different way of designing clothing. She does everything top down, which I'm not complaining about. I saw the sweater I had on yesterday was a different pattern altogether, not Doris Chan's, and it just didn't fit at all. It kept bunching up round the middle here. I really don't like it. So I love the sweater concept of it, and I've got quite a lot of the boho spirit still left in the shed in different shades. But I'm not going to do that pattern again, that particular pattern again. Doris, in her everyday crochet book, has some lovely top-down patterns that I've made in the past. But because I made them so long ago, they all went fluffy and they've all gone to the four winds. So I don't really actually possess any, I don't think, made up at the minute. So it would be nice to start another one off, you know. And she does bust shapings, which is nice if you're well, I'm not as bazoomy as I used to be. But it's nice if you've got a shape, you know. It's nice to have like a darting situation, so that doesn't happen like the sweater I'd had on last night, which was bunching up in all places. But we won't go into that. So that'll be one. I won't be wearing that often, I don't think, even though I love the colours of it. It was Boho Spirit, I think. It's very, very similar to the dragonfly that they used to do in Red Heart. But I don't know what it's called in the UK version. Yeah. But anyway, today I'm going to try and push on with doing another set of pineapples on this. Although I'm not looking forward to reading her set of instructions, I must confess. She is not floating my boat at all. You know, when you get a load of instructions like that, give me a chart any day, yeah. But what I'm hoping to make when I get into the shed is, I made the boho jackets by Frida Kahlo Designs. It was by, oh gosh, I don't know, it'll come to me in a minute, the lady who designed it. But they're on the style of Frida Kahlo. And I made them in iron, and so I have a lot of bits and pieces left. So this cap by Craft and a Cuppa. I'm going to make that hat. It won't be those colours because I haven't got those colours in stock. But and she's also got a lovely pattern for a lovely sweater, which is just me, where every other row is a bright colour. And I'm like, yes, so me, so me. But if you don't want to buy the pattern, this lady actually has a YouTube tutorial for this and for the sweater. But I did buy this pattern because, you know, if I'm out and about, I like to be able to read the pattern. Because a lot of the places I go to in Fleetwood here, and I go to a cafe for example, the Wi-Fi is pathetic, you know, and I can't get the Wi-Fi on my phone, it just, whatever. You know, so you couldn't like log into your YouTube and sit there crocheting, you know, whereas if you got a hard copy. But the sweater that she's done is a very, very simple sort of style if you're not a fantastic, you know, crocheter, if you're not, I won't say a beginner, but, you know, if you're not comfortable making garments. This sweater that she's done is actually like, you know, a rectangle for the body. So there's no shaping, you know. Once you get the pattern in your head. I don't know whether there's any shaping on the sleeves. I haven't got to that bit yet. But it doesn't look like there's a lot of shaping on the sleeves, but I might be wrong. But anyway, you know, it looks like a pattern that a beginner could tackle. So if you're one of these people who only makes a blanket, no offence to you, if that's what you want to do, you make your blankets. But you've never branched out into clothing, yeah? I would suggest like you pick a very basic pattern, like that one that the lady's doing. And you'd be amazed, you know, you think, oh, hey, I can actually make a sweater, hey, yay. Whereas I started the other way around. When I started crocheting, crocheting had just started to become very, very fashionable. Well, I won't say Mary Quant, she didn't do crocheting, but that era where it was all boho boutiques and it was all very open work crochet and everybody was wearing it, but there was no patterns. Zilch. Patterns came later. So I used to stand outside shops. Bear in mind there was no such thing as mobile phones back in the day, so you couldn't like click and take a photograph, blow it up and then try and do it when you got home. So I'd be there with a pencil and paper and that, standing outside these gorgeous boutiques, which they used to have back in the day. They don't have them anymore. I'm so sad about that, but that was my kind of clothing, boho boutiques. So I used to stand outside the window. It's a wonder they didn't think I was lurking with intent, you know. And I'd be drawing, you know, pictures of these little garments, you know, these dresses and that. And then eventually, I think it was listers who did it first of all, started doing the crochet patterns for these very open work garments. So that is where I started crocheting. I didn't start like everybody else does, because hand warmers and things like that weren't fashionable back then. And there was a few crochet hats, but they were more open work with a flower, you know, a bit like ABBA, you know, that kind of thing. They weren't substantial, warm hats and that. My mum used to subscribe to me a magazine that came from America, which was called, I think it was McCall's Needlework and Craft. It used to come out 4 times a year. Terribly expensive over here, but my mum liked to encourage me to be, you know, creative. She used to subscribe to this magazine, this book for me. I have still got them to this day in the shed. Still got them. And they were crochet garments, and I'm like, yay, yay. I must admit I did struggle at first because, of course, being a beginner and only teaching myself to crochet in the UK way, I did struggle because, of course, my treble is a US double crochet. And that bit didn't like twig for a little while. And I made 1 or 2 things and I thought, well, this isn't right, you know, this is not okay, this is not coming out the right size. Because, of course, everything was like that big when it should have been that big. And then it dawned on me, you know, that, because there was no YouTube back in the day. I couldn't like go to YouTube and say, what is a US double crochet, what is it? There wasn't even Google back then. And I didn't have a computer anyway, so it was all like working it out in your brain, you know. And eventually the penny did drop and I realised that a double crochet in America is my treble, yeah. So, and after that I was away, yeah. And what I liked was they did an enormous amount of little knitted Barbie and Cindy clothes in these magazines, which there wasn't any in the UK. And so I made a lot of things for my 2 nieces from these magazines. I've still got them, still in the shed. In fact, you know, we're going back so far that we go full circle. My mum used to say there's no such thing as new fashion, it's just old times with vinegar on, yeah? And if you look back at patterns these days, you know, you're like, the new lasses, you know, that are in their 20s, of course, obviously never seen them before. And they think, hey, look at this new fashion. Whereas ladies like myself, who are like late 70s, some people are in their 80s, are like, yeah, you know, we've seen it all before, like, you know, that was fashionable when I was a girl, yeah. So it tickles me when I think these little sweet young things who are like inventing the wheel, you know, they say, oh, look what I've invented, look what I've made. And I'm like, no, I crocheted that when I was 17, you know, and wore it when I was 17. It's nothing new, you know. All these granny square jackets and that, they were old hat back when I was a girl, you know. But I do love a granny square. I do love a granny square jacket. And there are so many different innards, if you know what I mean, for the granny squares, like there never was when I was younger. When I was younger, it was like a little flower, or it was the traditional, like, granny stitch. That's all there was, yeah? But now, you know, there's so many fancy middle bits, isn't there? I must have another go at making myself another granny square long jacket, you know. Because after all, I mean, yeah, I'm not selling anything. I haven't even got a shop. I haven't even got a web page. And I've got a shed full of yarn. So I may as well make myself something, mightn't I? Something that I'm going to wear, yeah. I'm still thinking of ways in which I can sort of expand my business as such. People have said Vinted, but no, Vinted don't want to know. They just want you to sell second-hand dresses and things like that. They don't want you putting anything new on there. Etsy, well, I won't swear. But let's just say they make more profit from me than I make when I'm selling anything. And eBay, I never sold anything really on eBay because people just don't want to pay the prices. So I'm still in the quandary of where do I go in the new year, where do I go? Because there's only so much crochet I can make for myself, isn't there? And I am not in the market for making blankets to give away and cat blankets for the RSPCA, I'm just not, no. Not my thing, not my bag. If it's what you like to do, fine, fair enough. If you like to make blanket after blanket after blanket, fine. I never knock anybody for making whatever they wish. Not my thing, yeah. My thing is, my brain works in design. You know, how can I make something that is different? How can I, you know, if something is on YouTube, for example, and it's a cardigan or a jacket on YouTube or a shawl on YouTube, and every woman, man and dog are making them, I go, no, I don't want one of them. You know, I don't want, the only thing I succumbed with was the virus shawl, but only because I thought it was pretty anyway. And I've done the hexagon jackets, but I've done that my own way anyway. But I don't want to be one of the herd. I've never been one of the herd. I've always been, from being a very, very young age, wanted to be different in the way I dress and the way I am, yeah. As you know, what I buy is not what the masses buy. You know, I might buy basic dresses like the one I'm wearing now, you know, which is basic. I've got them in all colours. It's just a basic round neck dress, long sleeve, nothing to it, yeah. But that's only because it's like, how can I put it, a background for me to work with. So I can dress it up like with this, or I can jazz it up, you know, with something bold, bright. I've got them in black, blue, navy blue, maroon, you name it, what colour, I've got it in. Certain colours are missing, but that's only because I can't buy them. I mean, I thought I'd bought a beautiful olive green one, but it turned out to be like a khaki, a beigey colour. You know me and beige. I just watched a lady actually that I follow, she's called Alternative Aging, and she'd been in Portugal on a weekend, family weekend and stuff. And she went into this very, very lovely, expensive shop. And she looked around it and looked around it, and everything was lovely, and it was classic, and it was gorgeous, but like she said, everything is so beige. And I thought, I'm with you there. I am so with you there. You know, beige is alright as a neutral shade if you wear something bright with it, you know. But maybe you're not that kind of person. Maybe you are a little wallflower that likes to stand unnoticed in a corner. You know, wearing something pastel. I'm not, I'm more the, whoop, here I am, here I come, look at me, woo. I'm more of an extrovert, I think. I've always been a show, well I can't say a showman, can you? You've got to say a show person these days, haven't you? All this PC nonsense. I've always been a bit of a show-off, yeah. I always thought I should have been on the stage. I'm not quite sure in what genre, because I'm not a singer. Maybe an actress, maybe I could have done that. Although I don't know whether my memory would have let me you know, learn the lines or something, you know, the script. But I mean, when I was little, I used to love being in dancing displays, you know, doing the ballet and the tap and everything. You know, I was a little bit of a show-off, a little bit of a know-it-all little girl, yeah, you know. But I've never been musical. I've never like been able to master playing the piano or the violin or the flute or anything like that. I did have a go once when my son was going through his guitar phase. You know, old boys go through the guitar, don't they? Think they're going to be Bruce Springsteen or something. And I did have a go on his guitar, but it hurt my fingers. And I've got tiny hands, so I can never master, you know, like the... It was the same with the piano. I couldn't stretch an octave. My fingers were too small to stretch the octave on the piano. So I was never any good at that, really. Couldn't do the chords, because, you know, you've got to have very flexible, long fingers to be a pianist. I did try learning the electric organ at one time, but I did that for a little while. That wasn't so bad because you weren't like classical music and you didn't have to stretch your hands so far. But we sold the organ, so I got fed up with that. I don't think musical instruments are my forte in life. Yeah. And I've never been much of a singer. I wasn't too bad until I had to have all the throat surgery. You know, I think I told you dodgy cells, I had to have my throat lasered, my uvula removed, my tonsils removed. And after that my voice went 2 or 3 octaves lower down, and then I couldn't reach the high notes. So singing is something I do when I'm in the house on my own. I used to sing in the car. I used to love to sing in the car. I don't know what other people thought when I was going down the road singing. They must have thought, there's a nutty woman, because they probably couldn't hear you. And I used to stop at traffic lights because I didn't really want other people to hear me. So there was a gap in my singing when we got to a traffic light. Oh dear, but hey ho, these things. Anyway, I was going to go out, but oh, it's so cold. I am so fed up of being cold. And it's so windy out there. It's windy, and I'm just not into this wind and cold and oh, I should have been born somewhere else. I think I've told you that before. I don't remember it ever being this cold. Must have been. It's your memory, isn't it? When I was a child, I don't remember being this cold. Maybe, you know, as a child you don't feel it. Maybe as you get older you feel the cold, you know. Maybe that's what it is. But I certainly don't remember being this cold in Prestwich. Certainly don't, not even when it snowed. I think it's the wind from the sea that blows all the time. I didn't win the lottery, so I'm not going to be moving anywhere warm anytime soon. I did win a lucky dip, but my lucky dip didn't win me anything. Yeah. So I'm going to go and make myself a nice hot cup of coffee. With some lady did suggest that maybe the sweeteners in it was upsetting my stomach, but my upset stomach's been long before the sweeteners. I admit that they're not good for you, sweeteners, but I cannot take my drinks without any kind of sweetness in them, and of course I can't take the sugar because I'm diabetic. So I did try that stevia or whatever it's called that's made with leaves and that. Oh, you have to put about 6 in to get any kind of sweetness into it. Oh, yeah. Ah, dearie me. So you can't drink fizzy drinks because they've all got sweeteners in. It doesn't matter what it says. They've all got sweeteners in. And that's my... Oh, for goodness sake, this phone, it will not switch off when I want it to. I'm like that in the morning with my alarm. I'm trying to switch it off. It's supposed to be a tap. You know, you're supposed to tap it and it goes off, but you tap, 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 tap and it won't go off. Anyway, I'm going to go now, as I said, make myself a nice hot drink, maybe light the fire and tackle the next row of pineapples on this jacket. Oh, I'll be so glad when it's finished. Anyway, bye for now and happy Sunday, and I hope your Sunday is warmer than mine is. Bye for now.